All right, you're watching the China Show. Here is your China Brief this morning. A look at some of the stories making headlines in local Chinese papers and trending on social media. The China Securities Journal talking a little bit more about the bond market and the new buzzword, ultra-long government bonds. They may be including tenors as long as 30 and 50 years. So they're citing the vice head of Renmin University's Institute of Public Finance and Taxation. The bonds are expected to ensure funding for long-term projects. Meanwhile, China may cut the bank's reserve requirement ratios and triple Rs and lower the MLF rate in the second quarter. Now, that's according to the Economic Information Daily. That's citing an analyst with golden credit rating, which is interesting as well. Just given that big, steep cut that we saw a few weeks ago, some have actually pared back some of their expectations of something in the first quarter as well. Online, we're watching what goes on when it comes to Weibo and social media. So there's been a reported explosion that's happened when it comes to CCTV. They're talking about this in Hebei province, Yangzhou, to be specific, at a restaurant. Unknown how many people were injured, but the cause of the explosion is still reportedly under investigation this morning. Elsewhere, there's broader news about this U.S. election that's still making the top story there among the social media waves. President Joe Biden has won enough delegates to secure the Democratic presidential nomination. That's making the rounds as well. Most of the comments seem to be about his age. Others think it doesn't really matter who sits in the White House, saying U.S. strategy against China will not change, and that's because of the likely presidential nominee for the Republican Party, Donald Trump, has also taken a hard line against Beijing. So that's something that we certainly have heard about when it comes to the equity outlook here, that you're continuing to see this sort of anti-China rhetoric leading up to this U.S. election as well. So is that going to be a big hurdle for stocks in particular?